proud to present the main event of the evening, 12 rounds of boxing for the middleweight championship of the world. Sanctioned by the Tennessee Boxing Commission, Commissioner Meredith Sullivan, WBC President Jose Suleiman, WBO President Francisco Barcarcel. At ringside, the three judges scoring this bout on the 10-point system: Dick Flaherty, Michael Pernick, and Gail Van Oy. And inside the ring, your referee in charge of the action, Michael Ortega. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble! Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing blue, official weight 160 pounds. His professional record, 39 bouts, 36 victories, including 11 knockouts, with 3 defeats. From St. Louis, Missouri, the challenger, former undisputed welterweight world champion and current IBF light middleweight champion of the world, Cory, the next generation Spinks. And across the ring, fighting out of the red corner, wearing maroon, also weighing in officially at 160 pounds. His professional record, 27 bouts, 26 victories, including 17 KOs with 1 draw. From Little Rock, Arkansas, presenting the undefeated middleweight champion of the world, Jermain Bad Intentions Taylor.
Let's go. Get everybody out first. All right, gentlemen, we went over the rules. Want a good, clean fight. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Good luck to both of you. Touch them up.
Taylor said he made an easy fight against Uma look hard. Can he make a fight that can look hard, easy tonight?
You're all set, Mike? You're all set? You're all set?
They've known each other from their amateur days 15 years ago. Cory Spinks' trainer, Kevin Cunningham, says, yeah, I remember Jermain from the amateurs. What I remember most is that he never did as well in those competitions as Cory did. They were 1 weight class apart at that time. Let's see if they're still a weight class apart tonight.
Jermain's doing something that you definitely need to do against fast guys, and that's you need to fake before you throw a punch. And he's faking his punches before he throws them, keeping Spinks giddy, you could say, thinking that something's coming, but nothing's coming.
So how does the fake help to negate speed, Lennox?
Because it offsets Cory's speed, because it messes Cory up on his counter punching. Because that's what Cory's looking to do, counter punch right now.
There's a lead left hand from Cory Spinks that lands in the grill of Jermain Taylor. And already you see the difference between fighting Cory Spinks and Taylor's last outing against his supposedly undersized opponent, Kasim Uma. Against Uma, a come-forward offensive fighter, Taylor is able to throw at will. and threw close to 90 punches in the first round, most of them power shots. Here, it's very difficult to find punching opportunities.
Cory Spinks is very fast-footed, quick puncher, and you know, if you don't seize that opportunity, he's not going to be there. He's going to be out of the way.
Taylor lands a jab. A punch that his trainer, Emmanuel Stewart, keeps promising he will use better than in the past. Against smaller opponents on his way toward the Hopkins fight, Taylor's jab seemed to be his best punch. In both Hopkins fights, it seemed some of the time to disappear, although in the second fight he was significantly better with it, and it probably provided the margin of victory. Against Winky Wright, he tried to wail away with power shots, and Wright clearly outboxed him, although getting hit more often and harder than in almost all of his previous fights.
Taylor needs to be first here. He's really waiting for Cory to do something, and he's reacting off of what Cory's doing.
You know, Spinks is a little quicker in beating him to the punch so far.
This is where he needs to be first, throw that jab.
A near exchange toward the end of the round. Taylor needs to look for real exchanges and couldn't find one in the first.
Now, you got to step right back. Right with it. You got to get right back there with it. All right? You got to keep him turning, and you got to use feints too. Okay. Use your stick up and down. Use your feint, set it, and drop it. Okay. All right? Okay. You can't. That's all you got to do. Just tighten up the distance and look for pressure on him instead of sitting back, going up and down, move it in a little bit more. Even if you're not punching, you will start making him panic a little bit more, okay?
Here we take a look at Spinks' straight left, right on the button.
One punch and step away, limiting Taylor's punching opportunities. Jermain 6 out of 26 by CompuBox count. Cory Spinks 10 out of 36 by CompuBox count, including 8 of 31 jabs in that first round.
See, Emmanuel said something very interesting, you know, when it comes to Jermain's boxing. He's throwing that jab, but he's throwing the jab too far. He needs to get a lot closer to Cory Spinks and throw that jab.
Between rounds, Emmanuel Stewart seemed intent on trying to get his fighter into a relaxed mode. Both fighters feinting a lot. Both fighters looking for opportunities to throw. Cory Spinks perhaps content to see them limited in this way. At this rate, it would take them about 24 rounds to land as many punches as were landed in 7 rounds of Miranda and Pavlik.
How about 3 rounds?
Jermain needs to step up with a little more pressure on Cory Spinks.
No, he's letting Spinks fight from a comfort zone and not imposing anything on him. His size, his will, his strength.
And incidentally, he should be using the jab because he's got longer arms.
Yeah, but Spinks is very clever, and I think he came out here thinking, if I stop Taylor's jab or can neutralize it, what is he going to hit me with?
There you saw the counter-punching skill of Cory Spinks. Jermain Taylor extending his jab, putting himself in a slightly awkward position, and Spinks with a 1-2 before he stepped away. Spinks' hands look fast tonight, though only 1 punch at a time. Taylor is doing a lot of dancing with Cory Spinks and not much cutting off the ring or closing the distance, which is what he has needed to do, Lennox.
Now, if I was Emmanuel, I would be telling Jermain to throw the jab at the chest and trying to drive through with the jab on the chest, because you're definitely going to catch him, but he needs to move forward. Sitting back waiting for a counter puncher which has fast hands is no good for Jermain right now. I haven't seen Jermain throw a double jab, which he needs to do. Needs to, and throw some feints in there to keep Cory Spinks guessing.
Right now he's trying to outbox the boxer, and he's not using his size.
And the main thing as well, you need to cut off that ring against Anuba. Cory Spinks is moving to the right.
Time. Whoa. Listen up for the bell. Listen up.
Taylor right hand, but after the bell. Excuse me, Larry. We're going to take a look right now at highlights from the undercard fight on which Andre Berto appeared. Berto, who was a member of the Haitian Olympic team in Athens, lives in Winter Haven, Florida, a rising welterweight prospect, unbeaten, gaudy knockout record so far. Fought a fighter named Martinez Clay from Wilson, North Carolina. Clay presented a bit of a puzzle for a while. Berto eventually solved that puzzle, mostly with uppercuts, and wound up scoring a 7th round technical knockout of Clay when Clay decided he'd had enough and walked away from Berto, prompting his corner to throw in the towel. TKO 217 at the 7th round, another knockout victory on the record of Andre Berto. He continues to rise in the welterweight division and has already appeared on HBO in the past, likely to do so again in the future if he keeps winning. Through the 2nd round, Jermain Taylor, 4 of 12 power shots in the 2nd round, 11 of 49 overall, and Cory Spinks 19 out of 86. So Spinks throwing more, landing more. They're fighting his fight through 2. Taylor seems considerably tentative, Lennox, about just stepping forward and storming Spinks. Is that because of Spinks' counterpunching effectiveness?
Not only that, Spinks has tremendous speed in his hands, and you know, Jermain doesn't want to take that chance right now. He needs to take chances, and he needs to depend on his jab, believe in his jab a little bit better, and cut off the ring. He's allowing Cory to have too much space in the ring. He should be trying to put him back on the ropes.
Crowd is starting to boo. They don't like the inactivity in the fight. There's the best punch so far for Jermain Taylor, who swept a right hand and managed to land it under the chin of Cory Spinks.
You know, I think that in the fight with Uma discombobulated Taylor. He feels he went out trying to get a knockout and looked bad, and so right now he just feels he wants to stay stable, but that may not be the best strategy against a boxer as quick.
Now he lands a straight right hand that seems momentarily to rock Spinks. And I think the right hand lead is a better idea than the jab. It seems to me that he's just not confident he's going to land jabs against Spinks. I think he ought to step forward against that southpaw style Lennox and fire right hand leads.
Well, if he's going to throw a right hand lead, he's got to sweep it up with a hook. I definitely don't believe in the one punch, especially when you're leading off with a right hand. You've got to end off with a left hook or a left jab to get you out of distance.
Might also help to find some body shots in there. Body shots helped him to win both Hopkins fights. He hasn't even looked at Spinks' ribcage so far.
But he's doing better here. Spinks is doing very well in neutralizing the jab, so that Taylor is going with his right hand.
Now he lands the jab and manages to spring another one on Spinks. Much better round for Jermain Taylor. Found a couple of answers here, at least momentarily. Spinks seems to realize that this round was not one that he has dominated like he did the first two with his own style. So he tries for something in the late going, and instead, Jermain pops him with the right hand just after the bell.
And says he's sorry. Why should he be sorry?
Okay, we got to stay in our rhythm. I need the jab a little busier. I need it up and down. I need you to break the left hand off the right hook with, all right? And we're going on around the corner. Simple as that, all right? Give me some water, Strick.
Because you're giving him too much time in between. Just say, give him too much time. Because he's slowing down now. And he's getting fair to you a little bit. He's not doing that much now, but put the tags closer together. Because the man is not a puncher. The only thing he can get a knockdown because you'll be off balance. But if you keep putting them tags together, he can't match you punch to punch. So just step to him a little bit more.
Is Jermain throwing a right hand and landing a right hand.
Probably the best punch of the fight for him.
Best thing he can do against the southpaw, or at least it would appear that way so far. CompuBox numbers in the third round finally began to tilt in Taylor's direction as he landed 8 out of 14 power shots. The right hand lead, tremendously instrumental in setting that up. Spinks 4 out of 14. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Okay, so 2 rounds to 1, 29-28, Cory Spinks. I thought Cory definitely won the first 2 rounds with that right jab. Jermain came out with some nice right hands in round 3 to win the third round. Jim, I gotta tell you something. Cory Spinks is circling to the left most of the time. When he circles to the left, he goes right into Jermain Taylor's big right hand, and Jermain Taylor don't throw it. He stands there, he shuffles in, he straightens up. He shuffles in, he straightens up, but he don't throw the right. 2-1 Spinks.
Cory's circling in exactly the opposite direction of what you said, Harold. Now he goes back into the direction you were talking about. And you're right, he's coming toward Jermain Taylor's right hand when he's moving in this direction.
With his hands held high.
And with his counter-punching skill still from time to time bedeviling Taylor, who got popped with a counter-punch a moment ago. Right hand lead again. Taylor misses with a right hand lead. Spinks lands a couple of back before Taylor backs away.
You hear some cheering for Cory in the crowd. A couple thousand of his fans from St. Louis here. Also, he's about an 8-1 underdog, so he might have some fans who don't come from St. Louis.
People bet on boxing?
I've heard tell.
See anything new, Lennox?
Well, Cory's staying out of Jermain's distance. He doesn't want to get hit with no right hand.
He just did.
Jermain's jumping in with his punches when he needs to work in with his punches, but definitely needs to throw more right hands and more jabs.
You heard what Emmanuel Stewart said. He basically said, Cory can't hurt you. Jump on him a lot more frequently. Easier said than done, I guess. Nobody really wants to get hit, even by a guy who can't hurt you.
You know, sometimes fighters fight the wrong fights against the wrong fighters. Against Uma, he was wild and crazy, and nothing happened. Here, he's trying to be more disciplined, and nothing is happening.
Well, and I talked about how he fights to overcome the doubts which are left by his past. You know, the way he looks here in the first 4 rounds is tremendous fodder for those people among ringside experts, and there are quite a number who will still claim he didn't really beat Hopkins twice. He didn't really get a draw against Winky Wright. He was beaten in all 3 of those fights.
Oh, come on. You know, I'm over that. As you've pointed out, 5 of the 6 judges voted for Taylor in the 2 Hopkins fights.
Hey, I totally agree. I'm just talking about what a lot of other people say.
Double it up, get your left hand go off, stick up and down, shoot your jab, stay in the body, shoot your left hand up top. All right? Double jab, left hand, turn the corner. Basic. Bing, 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 hook, turn the corner. Base comfort zone that he's in. You got to step in the foot, that footwork going up and down, up and down, up and down, let the footwork be moving in like a cat. You understand? You're having a lot of problems because you're going up and down with that footwork. Just move in a little faster. This man can't hurt you. And you got to realize that. And go ahead, you're the puncher. But you're fighting like you're trying to outbox him. And let the shit, if you miss the damn shit, shoot it back again.
Here's Leon.
Leon lives in a small town in Nebraska where he works in an YMCA as a cleanup man and in a fast food restaurant. Came here to work his son's corner for the first time. Son helping him out financially here.
Manny said to Jermain Taylor that, you know, Spinks can't hurt you. Go after him. He wants him to go after him with a controlled aggression. He believes Taylor's holding back a bit too much and needs to throw more jabs.
Holding back indeed. Through the first 4 rounds, by CompuBox count, Taylor averaged 6 landed punches out of 23 thrown per round. 23 thrown punches per round. Those numbers are reminiscent of what Hopkins did, or I should say didn't do, against him in the first 2 fights, or in their 2 fights. When in the first 6 rounds of the first fight, Hopkins averaged 5 landed punches in 19 thrown, and in the second fight, he averaged 7 landed punches out of 25 thrown. Those numbers were exactly like what Taylor is doing / not doing against Cory Spinks tonight. Spinks isn't landing all that much, averaging 8 out of 48, but the 48 alone is enough to nearly double what Taylor's throwing. Now Jermain goes to work. This is what he needs to do, Lennox.
Definitely needs to step in there, throw some good power punches, even some body punches in there to slow down Spinks.
Seems to have made a conscious decision to come up and under some of the time with the right hand. Maybe that'll be more comfortable for him.
It's a wise decision, especially when you have an opponent that ducks after he sees a couple punches thrown at you.
Taylor blocking a left hand by Spinks, looking for another chance to jump in. Cory Spinks now trying to seize the initiative and back Taylor off on his heels a little bit. Taylor's punch count going, or excuse me, Spinks' punch count going up as he feels the threat of a more aggressive Taylor.
Let him out, step back clean. Let's go, step back, box.
Taylor finally got in a left hook to the body, and now a straight right hand upstairs. So his effectiveness quotient begins to rise as we approach the midpoint of the fight.
Break, step back, step back.
And you see Cory Spinks trying to be smart in there, seizing the opportunity when it allows himself. And you know, there's sometimes when Jermain leaves himself open, and that's when Cory Spinks comes back with a quick combination.
But Taylor is the bigger hitter, and that's why he was such a heavy favorite to win the fight.
I didn't hit or whatever. He shot all those punches at you, and you gave him a defense where he can't land nothing. And you just shut him down there, take the shit to his ass, because he can't land nothing on you. You shut him down, you took his jab, and you're taking away the straight left, so just walk to him and then start ripping shit on him.
Yeah. Come on, sit down, sit down. I'm good, come on. Listen, you can't, the only time he touch you is when you standing there posing, man.
Put it in your pocket.
You know what I'm saying? Get his nose straight, get his stuff together, get him together. All right?
Yeah.
You can't be standing there posing. When you boxing, getting in that bounce, bing, 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 you gotta put them together.
There are so few punches being landed in this fight. It's like a football version of, or a boxing version of flag football.
CompuBox numbers in the 5th. Taylor 14 out of 27. Still not able to get the punch count up to even a paltry 30 per round, but at least he landed more than half. Spinks 7 out of 53. And 7 out of 53, I'm sure, is perfectly acceptable to Kevin Cunningham, who wants him to bing, 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 bum, bum, bum.
I think I'd rather watch a debate between Hillary and Obama.
Would you rather watch a debate between Ron Paul and Tom Tancredo?
Too obscure a reference to me.
The one thing people don't realize, Cory Spinks will make you look bad. That's why Jermain's trying to, you know, taking his time on his offense, because he doesn't want to look bad in there.
You know, he wears on the front of his trunks, Cory Spinks, the Spinks Jinx, which was the
hard right hand by Taylor, best punch of the fight.
Which was the right hand by
his
uncle, Michael, called the Spinks Jinx.
Think that bothers his father at all? Probably not.
Look, Michael was obviously the best fighter in the family. Great light heavyweight.
Not the one to score a victory over Muhammad Ali, but his 2 wins over Larry Holmes were historic in the sense that he stopped Holmes at 48-0 and blunted Larry's effort to match Rocky Marciano's heavyweight record, 49 wins in a row. And of course that set you up, Larry, to do one of the more memorable post-fight interviews in the history of the sport.
Yes. They can kiss me where the sun don't shine.
Famous Larry Holmes quote. Larry probably watching tonight in Easton, Pennsylvania, and grinning at that reference.
Let him out, let him out.
Bing, bing.
Fans want to see bang, bang. And we're getting bing, bing.
Uppercut by Taylor, another good hard shot.
Every one of Taylor's shots that he throws is a knockout punch. He's throwing punches with disdain.
Right, let him out. Step back, step back, step back. Time.
Fight is evening up, getting closer as we reach the midway point.
When you look here, when you throw that left hand, you got to get down up on you, man. You can't throw it and pull your head up in the air. Damn. When you throw the left hand, break your left hook off, man. All right? And shoot the stuff straight down the pipe. Face right down the pipe step and get down and step over. All right?
Running into him, gonna still draining him too. So just keep taking, because he's not the type of guy you miss a punch and he's gonna catch you with something. He's not doing that.
But the jab uppercut working right off the bat.
I know, but just step, you ain't punching enough. You gotta stay, ain't punching enough. You know, just because he's not hitting you with nothing, but you're still letting know you ain't punching enough. You pick up your volume, you're gonna take more control of this fight. And just bang, if you miss his goddamn ass, I don't give a damn fuck it. Just bang it with your shoulders. Keep draining it.
CompuBox numbers through 6. Taylor 49 out of 145. Spinks 46 out of 292, so Spinks throwing more than twice as many. Taylor landing at more than twice as high a percentage. That would seem to substantiate exactly what Emanuel Stewart just said to his fighter, which is, hey, just give it more volume, just throw more. You're going to take over dominance of the fight. Harold, how do you have it so far?
Okay, so I gave Cory Spinks rounds 1 and 2, and then I gave him the 6th round, because the 6th round, he threw the right jab, and Jermain Taylor just didn't throw enough. But, so in other words, I got a 3-3, 57-57, all even. If Jermain would only get started and throw some punches, I think he'd win this fight easily, but he's not. He looks, and Spinks throws that right jab and hits him. 3-3.
That's Jermain looking for that jab uppercut. Now he needs to come back with a hook after that. Now that he's in position, once he throws that uppercut, Spinks has bent his head. Then you got to throw some other punches after that. And this is where he has to be first. This is where he has to be first. Right now he's waiting for Spinks. You don't wait for Spinks. He needs to throw that jab. Still kind of plodding around. Needs to throw that double jab. Needs to throw a higher volume of punches. Emanuel's right. And he can do so.
You may not like hard right hand.
For the right hand there.
You may not like the hit and run style of Spinks, but you have to respect the skill that he has.
Oh, I think Taylor's shown plenty of respect for Spinks' skill. That's what Emanuel Stewart is saying, basically. Quit showing so much respect to his skill and just wail away at him. But on the other hand, then you get the Elmer Fudd factor. Pesky Wabbit, where did he go? Whap, Pesky Wabbit. He's here, and then he's gone. Cory Spinks' right eye is beginning to swell. And now Jermain Taylor rips it with a left hook. And Spinks was momentarily off balance.
Well, he caught him while he was moving, which is just about the only way you're going to find Spinks.
Well, he doesn't exactly stand still. Now Taylor's actually able to land the jab. That's a signal moment. That's what he should be doing. Just all-out aggression. He's got the energy, he's got the physicality for it.
That's how Cory Spinks' father beat Ali. He just went at him and kept throwing punches wherever he could land them.
He lining you up. So you got to get all the way over, bro. You know, or you got to be on the outside all the way over here. All right? You yes sir me, but when the bell rings, you're doing something different. All right? I'm gonna beat the shit out with this damn left hand this round and see what happens. You got the great left hand and it's hurting him when you shoot it. And just start pumping that damn jab at his head right now. And working it hard.
There's a situation where Jermain catches him with a punch just as Spinks is coming in, and his feet is caught up with Spinks's, so, you know, Spinks got thrown off balance momentarily.
Made it look better than it was. I don't understand, Lennox, why Emmanuel doesn't ask him to throw more, ask Jermain to throw more body punches. I mean, if a guy is as elusive and as difficult to hit in the head as Cory Spinks is, it seems to me conventional wisdom is it'd be easier to find his body.
It would be, but, you know, Cory Spinks is very quick on his feet, and, you know, it gives you that difficulty. What you need to do is get Cory Spinks against the ropes and then throw the body punches.
Yeah, is the problem that in the center of the ring you run the risk of getting countered too easily if you try to throw to the body?
Yes, that's why you always try and jab a person and impose your will on him and put him against the ropes and then throw body punches. That's where he can escape from you, and that's where they'll be more effective. Jermain needs to throw a repertoire of different punches against Cory Spinks.
Try some by Spinks there.
Try some new punches. You know, maybe a double hook in there.
Pesky Wabbit.
Jermain knows Cory Spinks is difficult to hit. He doesn't like wasting his punches. He's setting up for the right punches, and like any punch he's going to throw is going to be a good solid punch by Jermain.
Well, that's a good explanation. He doesn't want to waste punches. But you know, what we've seen is frequently judges have more difficulty discerning whether a punch lands than they do whether a punch is thrown. So it might be to Jermain's advantage to simply turn up the volume whether he's going to land or not. You get credit for that. He keeps going along with a punch output of 25, 30, 35 punches around. He's fighting Cory Spinks' fight. And the crowd boos.
Taylor is trying to make the fight happen. Cory Spinks is trying to make the fight not happen. How much will that count in the scoring?
Taylor got in a right hand at close range there.
Yeah, Cory's distance in this fight is great for him, but not great for Jermain. Jermain needs to step a little closer to Cory so he can catch him with some punches. Right now, when Jermain is throwing that jab, he's throwing a long jab. And when he's throwing the right hand, he's throwing a long right hand. He needs to shorten it up and get closer to Cory to make it more effective.
Yeah, case in point, while you were talking, Jermain Taylor landed a long right hand that traveled from Little Rock to St. Louis, but somehow managed to find a wayward target.
Spinks is like a bobble-headed doll that never stops moving.
Stop moving enough there to catch a solid 1-2 from Jermain Taylor. One of the better combinations in the fight. And it punctuates what was on an intermittent basis a decent round for the champion.
That's simple. If you throw punches, you beat this man. You're not punching enough. And when you land a punch, you're going to take almost 20 seconds before you punch again. You got to step it up. Bang, get right back to him right away. This guy can't hurt you. He ain't even a puncher. And you going doing this up and down shit, you ain't got to be doing that. Just moving into him, cutting him off, banging, bang.
He needs you to be a steel target, because he looking to just land a right hand. All right? Keep sliding around him and touching him, slide around him. You get in position, slide around him.
And here's Taylor landing a long jab and ending it off with a right hook, a glancing right hook.
Sweeping it around the outside. Most of his good right hands have landed in a sweeping horizontal fashion, and now Taylor begins to inch ahead on Harold Lederman's scorecard. Yesterday in our meeting with him, Jermain Taylor said, I realize I'm not going to get any credit. If I beat him by decision, well, I was supposed to beat him. I'm a 7-1 or 8-1 favorite. If I knock him out, people are going to say, well, he was simply too small.
Well, I think that's a little bit self-pitying. If he would go out here and take care of his business and stop Spinks, and did it in good style, he'd get credit for it.
Yeah, Emmanuel Stewart seemed reluctant to show frustration until this last between rounds period, Lennox, and he let it rip.
Yeah, he was trying to get Jermain, put some fire under Jermain, get him going in this next couple rounds, because he feels that he needs to throw more punches. He knows that Cory Spinks can hurt him, but yet Jermain knows Cory Spinks may make him look bad. So, you know, taking that chance is part of boxing, and he's got to believe in himself and go out there and really let it loose.
Cory Spinks is like a human knuckleball, you know, dancing all around. Hard for a big hitter to hit.
See, for me, if I was boxing Cory Spinks, I would play. I'll be moving like that and showing him some of my sweet moves as well.
And the crowd would boo you too.
They would like my dancing. Don't worry about that.
Break. Let him out. Step out. Step back.
Big right hand by Taylor, and Spinks backs off immediately, as if to say, the nerve of you hitting me like that.
Step back.
He's one of those boxers
Watch your head.
who rarely gets hit with the second punch.
And the up and under thing is beginning to work better again, Lennox.
Yeah, the only problem with that is jumping into it when he really needs to move into it behind a jab, so he can really place that uppercut in the right spot.
Right hand lead lands again. Taylor managing to do just enough in little spots here and there to seemingly inch ahead of Spinks in the fight on sheer physicality. Bigger, stronger, faster. When he lands, it means more.
Let him out. Watch that. Time.
Crowd is restive in Memphis.
Worry about looking proper, just do it. I know he's going to be hard. If I told you, that's why I wish we had a fought Miranda instead of this. The fight's exactly what I was expecting. But you got to get out and let punches go. To make money, you would have to let the punches go. And that's the first time you shot the single was right here. Because every time you throw that 1-2, they see it because you join it. Get single close, shoot the single shot right off the bat. Because he's not...
Him step back and start over. If you're not doing nothing, you want to touch him or feint him and then step over.
Okay.
So he ain't attacking you.
Stay relaxed.
All right? And when you attack him, move.
Okay.
You ain't going to attack. Touch him, step over. He going to restart.
I'm not sure about the psychological effect of the great trainer telling the champion fighter, this is why I wish you were fighting Miranda instead of him. With 3 rounds to go in the fight, he's actually saying to his fighter, Kelly Pavlik did the better business tonight. CompuBox number in the 9th, Taylor 8 out of 25. 25 punches thrown. Again, the kinds of numbers that Hopkins produced against Taylor. Spinks 7 out of 47. 87. Harold, how do you have it through 9?
6 rounds to 3, 87-84, Jermain Taylor. Jim, I gotta tell you something. He throws 3-4 punches around, but the 3-4 punches around Jermain Taylor throws are at least more effective than what Cory's doing, looking at that right jab. So Jermain's winning the fight, but I gotta tell you, the fans ain't loving him for this kind of fight. Emmanuel complete all night, but Jermain Taylor ain't opening up, period, end the story. If he moves his hands, he'd win easy. He's still winning because he's the bigger puncher. 6'3", Taylor.
You know, it's after the storm of the first fight, this is a calm. So naturally, there's dissatisfaction.
Well, promoter Lou DiBella insisted to us yesterday that he made an $850,000 offer to Kelly Pavlik. Bob Arum says that isn't exactly the case. DiBella goes on to say Winky Wright turned down $5 million for the fight because Wright wouldn't agree to a deal in which he didn't have 50-50 parity with Taylor. And as DiBella says, my man is the middleweight champion. Wright was wrong. Felix Sturm supposedly was offered $1 million and turned it down. Javier Castillejo was offered $1 million and turned it down. Arthur Abraham, still recovering from the broken jaw he suffered against Miranda, also supposedly turned that down. Virtually everybody in the division, according to Lou DiBella, was offered this fight other than Edison Miranda. And that, of course, is the reason why Emmanuel Stewart just said, I wish you had fought Miranda.
Well, I love Lou DiBella, but like any promoter, he's a spin artist. They don't want to fight a puncher. That's why he's fighting Cory Spinks.
Yep, they're going to have to fight a puncher next. If he wins this fight, Kelly Pavlik now looms very large in the public mind. And if Jermain Taylor were now to leave the middleweight division and go up to fight Joe Calzaghe at 168, as good a business move as it might be, Lennox, it isn't going to look like manly stuff, right?
No, because everybody wants him to fight Pavlik. I think the fact that they've just seen Pavlik beat a great puncher like Miranda, now they want to see a great fight between Jermain and Pavlik.
They want to see man-sized stuff. Jermain Taylor is a big, rambunctious, physical middleweight. That's his calling card. The public is going to want to see him against big, rambunctious, physical Kelly Pavlik.
Dance with the star. Boom.
If you give me 2 more rounds like that, you the new middleweight champion. 2 rounds to go, baby. This is what you're doing. You hear what Zab over there telling you, dude? You know what I'm saying? Right down the middle. Everything's straight right down the middle. But you got to use your legs and your feet. Hands and feet. Okay?
Yes, sir. About it, I'll be honest with you. You haven't did nothing devastating. Your volume of punches by about 20 and 30 punches around. Just be busy. Just get out and fight. You're not worried about this fight. You go out and let the punches go. You ain't showing no urgency. You just relax, just up and down. Get excited, man. You got to fight these 2 rounds here. The man is tired.
You know, what he's saying to Taylor is, you got to show as much fight in the fight that you did in the press conference the other day.
Yeah, and we've reached the point, you're hearing Emmanuel Stewart because he has the HBO microphone on. But now, Taylor's boyhood trainer, Ozell Nelson, who played the role of number 2 to Pat Burns when Burns was Taylor's primary instructor, and who now plays the role of number 2 to Emmanuel Stewart, but who actually has the deeper, longer, more personal relationship with Taylor. He's talking Jermain too. And we can't hear what he says talking simultaneously at the same moment that Stewart is talking. And when that happens, it's not a great corner.
Well, you know, what happens to the boxer will take from both trainers exactly what he wants to hear, you know what I mean? Depending on which trainer is telling him something that he needs at that point, he will listen to them. But I believe that both trainers are probably saying the same thing, that Jermain needs to show some urgency in there and throw a lot more punches.
You know, in my card, Taylor is winning the fight. And even though he hasn't been able to get to this very quick silverish opponent, So maybe he doesn't feel there's as much urgency as he's hearing from his corner.
Well, and I mean, even more to the point, he might be thinking, hey, you go in there and try to find him. You know, the fighter always has a different view, right?
And let me tell you, when you box a guy that's very quick, that usually stunts your jab. It makes you not want to throw it as much because you don't want to miss and you don't want the guy to make you look bad. And, you know, a classic example of that is the Oscar De La Hoya fight with Floyd Mayweather. You know, everybody was saying, Oscar should have threw the jab. But, you know, you can't hit what you can't find.
And that's been the point for Jermain Taylor. You can't hit what you can't find. It's very difficult to find Cory Spinks, particularly when he doesn't want to be found. Very clear that Spinks came here tonight with an eye toward befuddling Jermain Taylor in a defensively skilled performance. And though to a large degree that has taken place, still, Harold Letterman thinks Jermain's winning the fight. Larry Merchant thinks Taylor's winning the fight. Punches like that seem to secure the impression that Taylor's winning the fight. When the official decision is announced in favor of Taylor, a lot of the crowd is going to boo.
Well, they're going to boo the fight.
Yep. You already did.
Me? I love these sparring sessions for which people pay hundreds of dollars.
We just hope they got in time to see the undercard fight.
Break. Oh, no. Don't hit behind the head now. Come on. Time.
Zelko Mavrovich, Lennox.
Hard to find, difficult opponent, hard conditions, very hot, and he trained for like 2 years for me, so, you know, he sacrificed a lot, and obviously I was the victor.
Go, man. Don't give a fuck whether you land or not, just let him go. Don't worry about you, ain't gonna be a shitty fight, but you gotta let punches go. You can't wait until they get, if you miss it, bang, and go right back. And don't take 30 seconds to start another punch. But you gotta get on and fight this goddamn little man. He's doing exactly what he said he's gonna do, trying to steal the bullshit championship. But you gotta throw some goddamn punches and put one up and down, up and down. You gotta and fight. You got 3 minutes, man, you gotta fight.
Seldom see Emmanuel so exercised. Just the other day he said that in training, Taylor is the meanest guy he ever saw. He wants to see that meme right now.
Well, here's the coincidence. The last time I saw Emmanuel that exercised, it was in about the 5th or 6th round of Lennox Lewis versus Mike Tyson, right here in Memphis, when he was screaming at Lennox to go knock the MF out.
Let me tell you, I still remember that. And like I said, he's trying to get some fire under Jermain right now. You know, the way how Manny's talking is like if Jermain's losing, but Jermain's winning the fight, but he still wants a little more out of Jermain, especially in this last round. He knows he's been in camp with Jermain, and he knows what Jermain's capable of, and he just wants to see that.
And a lot of the crowd is chanting, Cory, Cory, Cory. Story of Jermain Taylor's career so far: win, 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 win. One draw with Winky Wright, middleweight champion of the world, and in the eyes of many, the promise remains unfulfilled.
Let's go. Well, I think that people now have lowered their expectations some, so they can't measure Taylor against some phantom idea of who he should be.
Get off. Let's go, break. Let him out. Let's go. Get back.
Some people thought that Jermain Taylor would knock Cory Spinks out because he's bigger and stronger. That would have taken, it turns out, a masterful job of cutting off the ring.
All right, Lennox, what can you tell about a Taylor-Pavlik fight off of this? Anything?
I think the Taylor-Pavlik fight is going to be a lot better because Pavlik is coming to fight. Plus, he's boxed Taylor before, and he believes that he can beat Taylor. So that's the main thing about that fight.
He boxed him in the amateurs, you're saying.
Yes.
Somebody's mouthpiece came out.
even in the amateurs, he said that he thought he won the fight. So, you know, it doesn't really count until he boxes in the pro.
Let's go.
Cory Spinks gets another mouthpiece.
Over there. Get over there.
Jermain Taylor succeeded in causing Cory Spinks' mouthpiece to dislodge. There's a psychological victory of sorts. Jermain firing a right hand and missing. Now puts an elbow into the mouth of Cory Spinks.
A little meanness by
I don't think it's a bad idea. Too late to get penalized.
And you can see Jermain wants to turn it up, but you know Cory Spinks is being very elusive in there.
You know, once upon a time, the great Benny Leonard used to be proud of the fact that he could go through a whole fight without getting his hair mussed up. I think we're past that time. I don't want to see fighters who fight like they don't want to get their hair mussed up.
Now, you're the one who said at the beginning of the evening, victory should go to the man who consistently tries to make the fight.
Which is certainly the case here with Taylor.
Yes.
In my mind, he won the fight.
I agree. And Spinks is running around celebrating as though he's just won the World Series.
Remember I said earlier that a fight that he thinks is a good one for him, which he thinks about this fight, is not necessarily a good one for us, and we'll see if it's a good one for the officials.
Dreadful. Let's take a look at the three officials who will have to render a decision in this dreadful affair. The dreadful job of scoring this fight goes to Dick Flaherty from Massachusetts, who had Sam Peter the winner over James Toney in their first fight. Flaherty has had a couple of unusual moments. Michael Pernick, Tarver over Jones in their third fight. Well, that was easy enough. Only one fighter was really fighting to win that night. Gail Van Hoy out of Texas also had Sam Peter over James Toney in their, had Toney winning. Oh, I think I misread the graphic. Not even sure what that said. Scored for Toney, 115-112. I was playing catch up there. Harold, how'd you score this one?
Okay, Jim. 116-112. Jermain Taylor, 8 rounds to 4. Jim, the few punches he threw, he landed hard right hands, did more damage. Cory Spinks basically was moving, circling, flicking right jabs, but not doing a hell of a lot of damage. I went for the harder puncher, Jermain Taylor. I thought he landed enough hard shots to win the fight. 116-112.
116-112 for Taylor. Taylor the winner by 4 points, even though you gave Spinks the first 2 rounds in the fight, right?
Correct, Jim.
All right. CompuBox numbers in 12. Taylor 9 out of 33. Spinks 4 out of 25 punches thrown. Michael Buffer stands by with the official decision. Let's see what it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards. Dick Flaherty scores the bout 111-107, Cory Spinks. Mike Pernick scores the bout 115-113 for Taylor. Gail Van Hoy scores the bout 117-111 to the winner by split decision. From Little Rock, Arkansas, still middleweight champion of the world, Jermain "Bad Intentions"